going on, you guys? It's your girl Diana back at you with another YouTube video. Today I'm going to be going over my top 10 tips for Pokemon Go noobs because I am indeed a Pokemon Go noob because I took like a 3-year break. I literally haven't played Pokemon Go consistently since like late 2019, early 2020, so I did some research and I put together the top 10 tips from all across the PokeTuber world and of course what I learned myself through experience out in the field hunting Pokemon for myself. So if you're a Pokemon Go noob like me and you want to learn some tricks of the trade, then keep on watching. If you're new here, make sure that you hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if you are a Pokemon fan so we can push it out into the YouTube algorithm so that more Pokemon fans can watch it and we can all vibe in the comments. But let's get into the top 10 Pokemon Go tips that I have come up with and have found across the internet. Tip number 1 is one that I learned for myself while I was catching Pokemon out in the field, but it is also a widely encouraged and practiced thing in the entire Pokemon Go community. And that is to throw curveballs instead of throwing the Pokeball straight at the Pokemon that you're trying to catch. For starters, not only does throwing a curveball increase the odds that you're actually going to catch the Pokemon that's in front of you, but you also get more XP from throwing the curveball than you would from just throwing the ball straight forward. On top of that, if you are a little bit more advanced and you know how to do a quick catch, it also makes your quick catch a lot quicker. Tip number 2 is to make friends. The entire premise of Pokemon Go is to go out in the world, make friends, catch Pokemon. And making friends with people is like the easiest way to get XP in the game, which you're gonna need a lot of XP if you're trying to level up, especially if you're a noob like me and you're starting from basically scratch. And every time that you level up your friendship level with however many friends you choose to make, me personally, I have like 2 friends, but you know, you could have 400. You get XP as a reward. You start off with 3,000 XP when you become good friends. Great friends gets you 10,000 XP. Ultra friend gets you 50,000 XP, and best friends gets you 100,000 XP. And if you really want to take advantage of this XP reward, then I would definitely try to coordinate with your friends and throw a lucky egg into the mix so that you can get double XP. So if you're going from ultra friend to best friend, you know what I'm saying, you're getting 200,000 XP points. That's a lot. Obviously, building up your friendship level takes time, it's a little tedious, you gotta send gifts back and forth, trade, whatever, but it's worth it for the XP. Not to mention, when you do make friends in Pokemon Go, you also get discounts on Stardust when you trade with them, and they could possibly turn into a lucky friend so you can get even better trades and get some lucky Pokemon. You know what I'm saying? So just do it. Tip number 3 is do not purify your shadow Pokemon. I know it's tempting, and it's literally a challenge that the game gives you to purify your shadow Pokemon. But if you get a shadow Pokemon that has beautiful IVs, do not purify it, because a shadow Pokemon is typically stronger than the 100% IV Pokemon it would turn into if you did purify it. So just keep it a shadow Pokemon. I feel like this tip kind of speaks for itself considering that shadow Pokemon are some of the best in the current meta. Tip number 4 is to stay up to date on the news. Literally swipe over the news tab. See what's happening and see what events are going on. That way you can take advantage of gameplay during these times so you can get shinies, you can get more coins, more experience, whatever you might need, especially if you're trying to grind and level up. It takes like 2 seconds to scroll the news feed. It won't take you long, and some of the events are pretty fun. Tip number 5 is appraise every Pokemon you catch. Just make it a habit. I do it every single time that I catch a Pokemon. This way you can see what their IVs are and see if they're even worth putting into your Pokemon storage, because I'm cheap and I don't want to pay for a bigger storage system. So I literally appraise it, and if it's anything under a 3-star, then I transfer it and get some candy for it. This way I'm not clogging up my storage, I'm getting some candy for it, and I can literally see right away if I get like 100% IV Pokemon, which all of the Pokemon that have had like beautiful IVs are completely on accident and just in the wild where I'm not expecting to get them. So just appraise them, your storage will thank you, and you might get a nice little surprise out of it. Tip number 6 is to use your tags. Keep yourself organized. Obviously, there is a lot of Pokemon in the game, and not every single Pokemon that you catch is going to be one that you keep. So use your tags. That way you don't accidentally transfer a shiny or a perfect IV Pokemon, whatever. Just keep them in separate boxes. That way you can see which ones you're going to trade, which ones you're going to transfer, whatever. Tip number 7 kind of ties back into tip number 5, which is do not waste your Stardust. best. Just because you catch a Pokemon that has a high CP does not mean that it's gonna be a good Pokemon. This is why we appraise Pokemon, people. Just because it's got a lot of CP does not mean its IVs will be good. I myself have made the mistake of leveling up a trash Pokemon because I liked it or because I saw that it had a high CP without checking the IVs, and then I go back and see that it's actual trash. And I just wasted a bunch of Stardust on it. Stardust is like the only thing that you can't buy in the store. You literally have to earn it by playing the game. So just don't do it. Just save it. Check your IVs and only use it on Pokemon that are worth powering up. Or don't. I'm not your mom. If you want to power up a Weedle, go ahead. I'm not going to stop you. Do your thing. But I won't say that I condone it. Tip number 8 is don't use the recommended parties when you go into raid battles. All that the recommended parties they give you are good for is letting you know like what kind of moves the raid boss actually has. Just because I'm pretty sure the way that it picks the parties is that it literally picks Pokemon that are good counters to the moves that it has, so it gives you a little bit of insight to that, but otherwise just put together your own party. It takes like 3 seconds. Literally swipe over, scroll down, click the plus button, give the party a name, put whatever party Pokemon you want in there, just do it yourself. It takes like 3 seconds. And just don't use the recommended one. They're literally not good. I will never forget when I went into a raid battle and the recommended Pokemon were all baby Pokemon when I had like 12,000 other Pokemon that would all be 10,000 times better than the little baby Pokemon it was recommending. So yeah, just make your own. Tip number 9 is that gyms really don't matter, so don't put your biggest, baddest, strongest Pokemon in them. The only thing that putting your Pokemon in a gym is going to do for you is give you 50 free coins. But in order to get the coins, your Pokemon has to get knocked out of the gym. So if you're over here putting your biggest, baddest Pokemon, you're literally not going to get your coins for however long it takes until they get knocked out. Not only that, but if you want to use your Pokemon in a raid and they're in a gym, you literally don't have access to them. So you wouldn't have access to one of your best Pokemon when you're trying to go up against a raid boss, or even use them in PvP. So putting your best Pokemon in a gym really does nothing for you except inconvenience you. But like I said, I'm not your mom. If you want to put your biggest, baddest Pokemon in the gym to flex on, I don't know, your neighborhood, go ahead, but you're not going to be able to use it in PvP or raid battles. And tip number 10 is do not waste Evie's name tricks. At this point, I'm pretty sure everyone knows about the trick that if you nickname your Evie a certain name, it evolves into that specific type of evolution, but you can only use this nickname once per evolution. So I would wait until you're at level 42, because at that point you get a challenge where you have to evolve Evie into each and every single one of its evolutions, and this would be 10 billion times easier if you didn't waste the Evie name trick earlier. Besides, there's really no reason that you should be rushing to evolve your Evie into any of the evolutions since they're literally not even in the current meta. So unless you super duper want one right then and there, then go ahead, but I would save them until level 42 just to make your life easier. And this is coming from the girl that is obsessed with evolutions. Did I evolve my Evie into an Espeon? Yes. But did I name it Sakura? No, I named it Sunny, and I evolved it the old-fashioned way. Use some Stardust, use some candy, and waited until the daytime. And tip number 11 is a bonus for you just because I like you and I wanted to be a homie. But if you encounter a shiny legendary in a raid battle, they have a 100% catch rate. So do not waste a raspberry on them or a golden raspberry. Literally give them a pineapple berry and get your extra candy because you're literally guaranteed to catch them. You're welcome in advance for saving you your raspberries and your golden raspberries. But those are my top 10, technically 11 tips for a Pokemon Go noob. Let me know if you guys found this list helpful, and of course, leave all your tips down below because like I said, I myself am a noob since I literally haven't played in like 3 years. So any tips would be greatly appreciated. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video and found it entertaining and maybe helpful if you're a noob like me. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Love you.